afternoon, everyone. I am Faye Duncan. I am a 30-year school librarian, National Board, all of that. I just recently retired in 2022, and I also write children's books. And so today, what I'm going to discuss with you is I'm going to discuss picture books and how we can use them with preteens and teenagers. I call my discussion today Picture Books from the Cradle to College, because you can also, even beyond school, college instructors can also use picture books as well. So today, we're going to talk about three things quickly. We're going to talk about why we should use them. We're going to talk about when we should use them. And as good curators of great literature, we're going to talk about what books that we can use. If I say anything that resonates with you, anything that you want to know more about, you can always go to my website, Faye Duncan. They're all resources there. So it says screenagers need picture books, and why? So in order to keep that sleepy demon off of you, I'm going to ask you to do something too. You see there's a question over there. It says, let me move this so I can see. It says write samples and examples related to your work. So as I'm talking and things come to your mind, I want you to write samples and examples of where you can make this applicable to your actual work, your actual school, your actual students, okay? So why do teens and preteens need picture books just like elementary kids? Anything I say can also be applicable to elementary kids. All right, they need picture books because the picture books are model texts, model literature for literary concepts and figurative language. They need picture books because picture books, sometimes in a very concise and laconic way, they introduce history and they inspire empathy for others. Picture books improve fluency. Oh my God, we got to talk about that. So many children did not go to Sunday school, so they did not have the experience of reading the Sunday school lesson out loud, so they don't even know what their voices sound like. They have never had the practice of reading aloud for accuracy, for rate, for expression, right? And so sometimes then when they have this opportunity to read aloud, then bam, they read and it sounds dry. They're not reading with accuracy. And so picture books help us influence and improve fluency. All right. Picture books demonstrate complex concepts in math and science. I'm not going to talk a lot about that because I'm not a math and science person, but you as the curator of good literature in your school, this is a way that you can help your math and science staff, all your STEM staff. Picture books provide interactive SEL connections with others. And on any given day, any given time that you would want to address these particular items on this list, each one individually can be achieved in one class period. So picture books are accommodating to instructional time. Next, specifically, there are specific times when you can curate picture books with teachers and for your students. When is that time? Now, what I want you to do, keep that sleepy demon off of you. I want you to write down samples and examples related specifically to your work as we discuss these things. So when can we use picture books with middle grade students? What is September? September is going to be Library Card Month. What is October? October is going to be Teen Reading Week and Teen Reading Month. And we can celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. And we can celebrate in November, we can celebrate Day of the Dead. We have a myriad of other holidays that you know about that are specific to your school population. So we can share picture books, middle grade, middle school, high school, when we have those library observances or those holiday times, right? Holiday times, historical landmarks, Day of the Dead. When school starts, we will still be in the 50th hip hop music anniversary, right? When is another good time? When you want to have children under your guidance, practice writing tasks to promote their personal creativity. Don't you think the kid gets tired of argumentative and persuasive writing and nobody can write a poem, nobody can write a rap, nobody can write a little story, right? So you as a librarian, you have that opportunity to then use picture books as the model text to inspire creative pursuits from your kids. And then another time that when it is appropriate to use picture books is during teacher collaborations. They talk about writing across the curriculum, right? Well, you as the curator of good literature, you can broach that writing across the curriculum with your science, with your math, with your social studies, with your history, with your art, with your music teacher, because you can take it upon yourself to curate lists that are appropriate for them, or you can ask them, what is it that you need, right? And then lastly, not finally, but last in my discussion, you can, and when is it a good time to curate picture books? When you organize or want to promote story times or read aloud program. An example of that, I would say, like National Siblings Day, right? On that day, you could possibly, and other days that you research, you could possibly organize a read aloud program where your big kids, your big middle school kids and your big high school kids can now go and visit the school population that's in that building that's younger, or you can encourage them to go home, talk to their younger siblings, or you encourage them to go and read to a grandparent or someone who is incapacitated and, needs some company, like a elderly relative. And then this is the curating part. Specifically, what specific books can we use for the holidays, for the library observance days, for Teen Reading Week, for those holidays like Dr. King, or for those special months like Poetry Month, right? And then what's another one? Black History Month, or Women's History Month, or Hispanic Heritage Month, like I just talked about. And these are just samples. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my sample list of books that I have used recently and in the past, and they worked for me. And then I'm also going to give you, because many of you are probably unfamiliar with many of my books. Some of them are award-winning, some of them are not, some of them are forthcoming, some of them have not even released yet, but I'm going to also add those books in my sampling of literature for you today. So school starts. When school starts, we are still in the 50th anniversary of hip hop, okay? So I would say before hip hop, I call it the 4-part harmony. Before hip hop, you had spirituals. Before hip hop, you had blues. Before hip hop, you had gospel. And then you have hip hop. Okay, there were a myriad of music, types of music that you had. And so we can give children, some children have never been introduced to the music prior to hip hop. Some children have never heard of a spiritual, never heard of a blues, which gave us what? Rock and roll. Never heard of a gospel, right? And so all they know is where they are now. So they know, many of them know the hip hop and rap icons, but they don't know the foundation of that. And there are so many great picture books like Standing in Need of Prayer from Carol Boston Weatherford. There is my 2 books, Yellow Dog Blues, which is an exploration of the Mississippi Delta Blues. Some people kids ain't never been to Mississippi, don't realize that Mississippi is beyond all the negative press that they have heard, that there are great people and great historical moments that bloomed and blossomed from Mississippi that gave us American music. And then there's my book, brand new. We're going to do a reading demonstration, a read aloud demonstration with it if we have time. This Train is Bound for Glory, which is a foot tapping, sing out loud type of gospel song. And then you have Carol Boston Weatherford's very wonderful The Roots of Rap, where she talks about the bars and the syllables and and she talks about the forebears who gave us rap music. And so that's my curated list there. School is about to start. Middle school kids, high school kids, they want something connected with it, hip, pragmatic to their lives, something that they're doing, interested in. Starting your first library lesson with the 50th anniversary would be, I'm thinking, a sure way to spark their interest. Okay, and so now we know that once we get to school, there's August, and then there's September, and then another library observance month is September, because it is library card month. Well, again, I told you about my thing in wanting to help children improve their fluency when they speak, when they read. So many of them are fearful and don't want to speak in class because they have not learned to enjoy the sound of their own voices. The reason why I like to hear myself talk is because I did grow up in a AME church Sunday school where everybody had to read aloud on every Sunday about everything, right? We probably still didn't know Jesus when we left there, but we knew how to read eloquently with the right speed and with so much emotion. Yes, we did. And so I say, give kids opportunity to learn that skill of reading aloud, of speaking aloud. And when you are guiding them in picking their own books, allow them to pick their own books. But when you are guiding them in picking their books, there are 4 types of books you should encourage them to pick, because you will find they will be successful in in holding the children's interest. That is, encourage the children when they're picking the books for maybe reading aloud to another child or a group of children who are younger than them. Encourage them to pick books that engage call and response, or that include call and response. Encourage them to use books that include humor. Encourage them to use books that use onomatopoeia. Encourage them to use books that have very spare text. One of my favorite books to read aloud, I think it's got all of maybe 30, 40 words in it, is Chris Roscoe's Yo Yes. And then I love Spike Lee's old classic from 2005, Please Baby Please. And then there is John Glayson's my favorite book of all time, I Want My Hat Back. Oh, I love that book. And then onomatopoeia, read. Chris Roscoe's Charlie Parker Played Bebop. And then Spare Text, my book Just Like a Mama, which also creates that SEL experience of empathy, Just Like a Mama, about a family that's not traditional. It is a elderly lady who is a grandmother or aunt who then adopts or takes care of a young child while she is not in the care of her mom and her dad. Okay. Again, allow teens, when you are encouraging them, library card month, you're encouraging them, hey kiddo, go and get a library card. Why, Miss Librarian? Why, Mr. Librarian, should I get a library card? Get a library card because we want you to go and we want you to spread joy with children who are younger than you, with your siblings who are younger than you, with the lower school in the building. And we want you to go on this adventure in sharing the joy of books with others, right? And so you're then doing a whole bunch of things at one time, getting the kid a library card, then getting them to express kindness and care for someone else, and then having them practice those books so then that they are reading with great fluency at the end of that experience. And then there's another Poetry Month. You know, Poetry Month is going to come every single April, right? And there is a way, no, that's not wrong. Sorry, y'all. Teen Reading Month. Teen Reading Month is going to come every single September, but also Latin Heritage Month is going to come every single September and October. So one thing that you can do is encourage children when they come to your library, hey, let's check out some Hispanic heritage picture books. And I would recommend that when you're making the suggestion, let them pick the book, but you make the suggestion. Hey, kiddo, pick out some poetry books, like Morales's Dreamers. Pick out some books that are call and response, like Song of Frutus. Pick out some books about Hispanic history makers, like Sonia Sotomayor and Pablo Picasso. And then there's humor, brand new book by Jesus Trejo, which is Papa's Magical Water Jug. That's brand new. It's about a young man and his dad. They're cutting grass. The dad makes a living cutting grass. And the little kid, they have a lot of this miscommunication. One person saying one thing and you thinking they're saying another. And it's hilarious. So want to suggest that. 14 Reading Month, encourage kids, check out books so that they can be a blessing to other kids. And then we know about the holidays. Now, the King holiday is coming every January, and Black History Month is coming every November, but there are other holidays. I picked this one because it's related to the books that I write, and because I live in Memphis, the city of Memphis, and Dr. King's assassination is very much a part of my personal history, right? And my local history. And so I say this year, don't just check out books or try to encourage kids to check out books about Martin or Black history. This year, I say, engage them. Sponsor a writing contest. That way they have to check out books so that they can support their ideas with information. So checking out book has a reason. The librarian is sponsoring a $50, $100 contest. And then, so checking out this books then fortifies what their essay is going to be about. Or if it's a poetry contest, it fortifies what that poem is going to be about. And when we're looking at Martin, I want to encourage you all to do something different this year. When you look at Martin, look at books that are about him in places beyond Selma, that are about him in places beyond the March on Washington. Look at his assassination. Allow kids to look at the assassination and see, oh, it's time to go. Okay, all right. Well, I'm
agreeing with you. Yes. Speak, preach.
All right. So, and then look at his wife, y'all. I got a new book. Hey, check out the new book. It's called Coretta's Journey. It received a Kirkus star and is about Coretta Scott King. So many people, they see Coretta as the pretty wife. They do not know the woman behind the veil. It says, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord high and lifted up. Well, this is the thing with Coretta. When her king died, it is then that we were able to hear her voice. Because of patriarchy, she was just singing. But it's when Dr. King dies that then she's able to make his legacy live, and she's able to use her voice for all of the civil rights issues that she did not speak on so vocally when he was alive, like the Vietnam War, right? Okay, another thing, look at books when you're looking at Martin's life, look at books that are about the movement itself from 1955 to 1968, like Choosing Brave. And then if you want to engage kids, talk about some music, play some music. So if you want to talk about Martin Luther King, play some music from that era or that time that he was alive. So share books about freedom songs, okay? All right, and then for Poetry Month, write this down. If you don't write anything down, write down this. It's called Poetry for Young People. It is a whole series of poems from famous poets where the publisher pulls specifically those poems that are conducive to children. Use for this Poetry Month that's coming up in 2024, use poetry anthologies that are not only the dated ones by the great Rudine Sims Bishop, who did a variety of anthologies, but also use the ones by young people from today, like Mahogany Brown. And then share with kids, I have a great picture book biography, which is a collection of 9 poems about Gwendolyn Brooks. Like, the kids are reading these poems by Gwendolyn Brooks because she's very anthologized, but they don't bit more know her from Adam's, Adam's dog. So just share with them poetry biographies. And my curated list would be to include Gwendolyn Brooks. And then books about craft. a child just does not, mentor texts are great, but children need to know that there are books on craft that can instruct them precisely. Look, a lot of folks say, well, you got to be gifted to write. That ain't true. You ain't got to be gifted to learn your math. Like math is just not for the mathematicians. You can learn how to do math. You can also learn how to write. So share with them books about the craft and the form of writing this year when you're doing Poetry Month. And now this is, I have a giveaway. My new book, Coretta's Journey, releases in September. My new book, This Train, it released in June, but don't nobody know about it. You can't hear nobody pray. So I want to give you all the opportunity to win Coretta. I want to give you an opportunity to win a copy of This Train. And I have a new book about that Tiger Bell that no one else knows about except me and all the people in Memphis and Nashville. That's Willie White, the U.S. Olympian from the Mississippi Delta. And then there's my book, Yellow Dog Blues, which was a New York Times best book, illustrated book in 2022. I am going to have 12 winners. So it's going to be 3 of these books a piece. All you got to do is sign up, click the QR code, put in your information there, and then I will pick 3 winners. But also, if you put your information there, I will put you in the loop so that when my publisher allows me to share PDF files of my new books, then you will automatically receive PDF copies of my new books as they are released. And I got a new book that's going to be released every year now from now until like 2027. So you'll be getting some PDFs for a while. All right, so I'm booked and busy, y'all. But if you would like for me to do a virtual program for your school, I have available dates in January, from January to May. You can look me up, contact me online. And then what we're going to do is, because we still have like 2 minutes left here, I'm going to do for you a demonstration lesson, right? So it's the first of school. All the kids are there, and you're going to ask them, something like, what anniversary are we celebrating today? And they're going to be like, I don't know, I don't know what anniversary we're celebrating today. And then, so you'll say, well, look at, this is just an example. Like, look at this equation here, right? Funk, soul, jazz plus rock equals hip hop. And ask them, what is missing in this equation? Maybe someone will say blues. Maybe someone will say gospel. Maybe someone will say spirituals. Maybe someone will say, the crying of Black folks on ships. I don't know what they're going to say, but we know that 4-part harmony, some of that 4-part harmony is missing. It's missing gospel, it's missing spirituals, it's missing blues, and so forth and so on. And then that, as you tell them some of the items, some of the music that's missing, you can say, today we're going to participate and we're going to read a gospel song together. Ultimately, you will be, at the end of this, you're going to allow them to write their own gospel lyrics, or it doesn't have to be called gospel lyrics. That might be religious, but their own song lyrics, right? Which can be about anything. And there's a template in the back of the book that will show them how to write the lyrics. In the actual book, there's a template showing them how to write lyrics. And so I'll say, okay, today I'm going to show you, or I'm going to share with you, this train is bound for glory. Now we're going to do this in a call and response. So like, all the, hey, you got to participate. You got to open up your mouth and you got to speak. So today we're going to read This Train is Bound for Glory. And it's a book about a group of people, and they are going to heaven, right? And because heaven is a happy place, right? And in this book, heaven is a happy place. And who couldn't use a little happiness and joy in your life right now? And so we began. Now, remember, you're going to have to read this with me. So when I ask for your help, be ready. All aboard, calls the merry conductor. His voice is like the wind, loud, warm, and strong. Men, women, and children run to the glory train. They raise their shiny tickets and skip up the narrow steps. The train sparkles in the sunlight. The wheels begin to roll. All the passengers wave goodbye. And as they sit down in their seats to ride the screeching rails, a boy picks and plucks his old guitar. He opens his mouth and sings. And then this is where I'm not reading the book. This is where it stops, y'all. This is where this train is stopping right now. So what you do is the song is going to go talk about it's an international train. It's people from all faiths. It's people from all religions are on this train, right? But you'll get to that. But the first verse is, this train is bound for glory. And so I would say, all right, now I'm going to do a line. You're going to do a line. Then we're going to do a line. So I would begin, this train is bound for glory, this train. And then the children would go, this train is bound for glory, this train. And then together we'd go, this train is bound for glory. Everybody here is rocking and a rolling. This train is bound for glory, this train. All right. And then all through the book, coming on to the end. I tell you, picture books inspire creativity. Use this book as a template. This is where in the book, there's going to be a template helping the kid to write the song. And then I'll tell you as I end my presentation, children will be what they see. So show them, yes, repeat it with me. Show them what? Amazing books. Thank you.
When I got my preview copy of this train, I was singing this train like I was singing in church with Carlton Pearson. I'm here to tell you. Everybody, show Alice Faye some love in the chat. Make sure you go over to social media. Show her some love there. Tag her. How can we find you on social media?
Look, Alice Faye, go to my website, alicefayeduncan.com, Alice Faye Duncan on Facebook, and Alice Faye Writes on Twitter. Thank you. Hey, call me anytime. Can I do this again next year?
I'm hoping that we can do this again, and I will not be the host. I will be more background, but we will see. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I will see you next year. Thank you.
And just to remind everyone, she has been nominated for an NAACP Writing Award, and she also won a Coretta Scott King Award. Because I was shouting almost when you were talking about write some things about Dr. King, discover some things about his life outside of, just Memphis. There's a lot that's there, and the kids need to be introduced to the more radical side of Dr. King, and they will realize that a lot of Black Lives Matter issues are definitely in sync with King, and his writing and ideology. For the adults on the call, read Where Do We Go From Here by Dr. King, and you will be introduced to the radical side of Dr. King.
Also, there is a book which is a collection of his speeches, and it's called The Radical King. And there are those speeches. And also, you all, if you hang tight until 2025, I have a new book that is called The Dream Builder's Blueprint, which is going to be, it is Dr. King's speech to children that he made in Philadelphia, but it's done as a found poem. So it's like the speech is like 1,000, like maybe 2,000 something words, but I have like reduced it to like 174 words, where I've pulled everything salient and then made it applicable to today. It's gonna be exciting. You got to wait for that. But in the meantime, while you wait for that, you can go and get Coretta's Journey. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you. That was such a treat. Whew, boy. That's why I interrupted her. I was like shouting, having a good time. Let me stop the recording.